Mason remanded for killing aunt. Jamaican nabbed with 100 pounds of cocaine in container from Guyana. Lightning strikes HA Studios. A fire erupts. Cabinet yet to discuss National Airlines as President Granger. And Berbice teen found hanging from veranda. Good evening, I'm Edward Lane with tonight's edition of the Evening News. The Mason who confessed to murdering his aunt was earlier today arraigned. Details on this report.
Azad Ali, also called Kevin Mohan, 22, of Lot 315 5th Street, Commons Lodge, was today charged for the murder of his aunt when he made his appearance at the Vigilance Magistrates Court. He appeared before Magistrate Zamila Ali Sipal and was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which stated that on September 4, 2016, at Commons Lodge, he murdered Anita Mohan during the course of furtherance of a robbery of $10,000. The court heard that the defendant was previously charged with assaulting his girlfriend. While in court, the defendant kept murmuring, quote, "I will not live with my aunt and kill her," end of quote. The matter was transferred to the Sparndam Magistrates Court for October 25. The battered body of the 48-year-old woman was found in a pool of blood in her kitchen by her son after he returned home from work. Upon his arrest, the accused confessed to the murder and told detectives that his now dead aunt sold drugs at home apart from selling greens and vegetables during the day. He revealed that on the day in question, a friend had purchased drugs from the woman and left. He later returned and requested another package, but on credit since he did not have money. He further stated that his now dead aunt refused to give credit, which led to an argument. It was during the argument the suspect and his accomplice dealt the woman several blows to the head. An autopsy performed on the body revealed that she sustained a chop to her head and one in the vicinity of her temple, along with a stab wound to her chin and one exactly in her mouth. The perpetrators also cut off portion of the woman's tongue, and finally she was strangled. The police are, however, hunting the second suspect in the brutal murder. The Shah Mohammed Evening News.
A Jamaican national was arrested by members of the Jamaican Narcotics Branch following the discovery of over 100 pounds of cocaine in a container shipped to that country from Guyana. Based on reports received, the cocaine was found concealed in 48 parcels in a bag in the 20-foot container. The Jamaican authorities have since informed the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit about the incident, and an investigation was launched. According to additional information received, the container was filled with a shipment of rice, which was checked and sealed by members of the Drug Enforcement Unit of the Guyana Revenue Authority. However, it is presumed that the cocaine was slipped into the container after the checks by the GRE officials. Kanu head James Singh, when contacted on Wednesday evening, confirmed that they were asked to assist in the probe and have been in contact with their counterparts in Jamaica. The Inter-American Development Bank and the European Union will be pumping some $1.6 billion into a new project at the Guyana Power and Light to help improve operations to reduce power losses as well as at the management level. Details from Alexis Rodney.
Well, with regards to this $1.6 billion, this is IDB EU-funded project. And this project will be done in two components. The first component will deal with the improvement of capacity building for the management, that is the executive management of the Guyana Power and Light Company Limited. And the other aspect of the project will focus on the improvement in the loss reduction area.
That was Minister within the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Annette Ferguson, briefing journalists today about the billion-dollar project to be funded by the Inter-American Development Bank and the European Union. The minister said Cabinet on Tuesday gave its no objection to the $1.6 billion project. She said currently the power company's loss reduction rate stands just over 29%. However, it is hoped that by 2020, the company will see a 23% reduction in technical losses.
This is what the $1.6 billion will be utilized. So I think this is what I would want to report on. So with these monies being released, we would see a more efficient and effective GPL when it comes to both at the management team and that providing services to the populace here.
Meanwhile, speaking to the issue of loss reduction, Ferguson said her ministry had advised the board of directors to carry out an audit under the loss reduction unit of the power company. They are currently awaiting the findings. She said based on the recommendations, actions will be taken. Meanwhile, Ministry of State Joseph Harmon, also speaking on the company's technical losses, said that the power company is now seeking to expand its reach to unserved areas. According to him, there is widespread electricity theft, particularly in areas that are off-grid of the power company, and that is something which needs to be addressed. For the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
A major catastrophe was averted earlier this morning after lightning struck the Hits and Jams studios at Landsgibb Street, Queenstown. Details in this report.
Chaos broke out in the Hits and Jams studio on Landsgibb Street earlier this morning after a fire started in the transmission room. The incident occurred sometime around 10:35 hours. According to reports reaching this newscast, during the heavy downpour, lightning struck the signal tower. This caused a spark inside of the building which erupted into flames. The staff members were quick to take action, turning off the main power and tried to put out the small blaze in the transmission room while the fire service was on its way. Speaking briefly with reporters, Director of Hits and Jams, Kerwin Wallers, explained how the fire started.
Based on our reports, I think it's during the lightning, I think the lightning struck the tower. And I think that kind of sends some kind of, I'm not too familiar with those terminologies, but apparently whatever hit the tower and the reflected power or something probably went into the TV transmission.
According to Ballers, it is too early to assess the extent of the damages.
Hopefully there's not much damage, and we'll try to assess it and see pretty much what is damage and what can be replaced. So hopefully it's not too much. We have some technicians, some of our technicians coming over just now to assess and see what is being damaged.
At the time when the fire broke out, there were about a dozen persons in the building, including popular radio broadcaster Felice Robertson, who was on air at the time. The incident has resulted in the suspension of several radio programs during the day. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manek-chan.
Guyana observes International Literacy Day, and the cabinet yet to discuss national airline, says President Granger. These and more when we return after this break. Stay with us. You're watching the Evening News. We now tell you that Guyana has joined the rest of the world in celebrating International Literacy Day with a public reading session hosted by the Education Ministry.
The Literacy Extravaganza was held on Thursday outside of the Education Ministry on Brigdam. During the 3-hour event, the gathering heard readings from various stakeholders. The presenters all highlighted the importance of reading and how stakeholders, particularly educators, can play a role to encourage literacy among children. Minister within the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Henry, read a piece on prolific deaf-blind author Helen Keller.
Helen overcame her difficulties, and in doing so, she surpassed all others. No one before or after her has ever started with so little and achieved so much. The message really is one of inspiration, particularly this is a challenged person who, as we heard, overcome the odds. And I believe that every child matters whether you're disabled or you're able.
Meanwhile, renowned Guyanese writer Pidambar Prasad pointed out that there are bits and pieces of literature everywhere, as he encourages students to read at every given chance. Prasad noted that not all children can learn the same way. As such, there is need to teach them in ways they can learn. The Literacy Extravaganza is one of the many activities around the country to observe International Literacy Day, which is being held under the theme, Reading the Past, Writing the Future. Reporting for the Evening News, I am Renella Bourne.
Months after it was reported that the APNU-AFC government was looking to introduce a national carrier, President David Granger on Wednesday disclosed that the administration has not yet discussed the matter.
Speaking with reporters on Wednesday, President Granger disclosed that the issue of a national airline or a flag carrier is yet to be discussed at Cabinet.
It's not something that has engaged Cabinet's attention at this point in time. We would certainly like to ensure that our nationals can travel at economic rates and efficiently throughout the Caribbean, and also to North America, where a large part of our diaspora is located.
According to the head of state, his administration wants to make sure that the rates for flights are reasonable and, more importantly, that there is no jeopardy to the safety of passengers and the condition of service.
We want to see that they're courteous and that people get to work on time. Many of the persons who come to Guyana, who live in the diaspora, are working people, and they don't want to be put up. They want to be affected by delays and postponements. So we've had some problems in the past, and we want the best for our citizens. But in answer to your question, we have not had a specific discussion on what the Foreign Minister refers to as a flag carrier, as a national airline.
Back in January, Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu had told members of the diaspora in New York that the coalition is looking to partner with a private airline to assist with the reintroduction of a national airline. Guyana's first national airline, Guyana Airways, operated from 1939 to 2001, traveling to destinations within the Caribbean, the US, and Canada. However, the airline was declared insolvent back in 2001. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
Although it was announced that the National Public Health Reference Laboratory was commencing testing for Zika and other mosquito-borne viruses, blood samples from suspected cases are still being sent overseas for testing. Details in this report.
The Public Health Ministry had declared that the laboratory, which was expected to start testing on mosquito-borne diseases years ago, would commence testing soon, since it has 2 trained medical technologists working at the facility. However, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, continues to receive samples for testing. Public Health Minister Dr. George Norton stated that the laboratory has been constrained by a shortage of material and equipment to test for the different viruses. Norton stated that they are concerned about the matter, particularly because they are unable to test for Zika, since it is on a rise. CARPHA has trained 2 Guyanese medical technologists from the National Public Health Reference Laboratory to test for the 3 vector-borne diseases. Shemisa Ali Sunaram and Joanna Vaughn had completed training at the agency on operating equipment to test vector-borne diseases and were expected to work along with a number of other specialists identified by the ministry to perform specific duties in helping them complete these tests. So far, there have been 5,375 reported cases of chikungunya, with 264 confirmed cases and 35 confirmed cases of Zika in Guyana. There are also 303 confirmed cases of dengue fever in the country. The climb in these vector-borne diseases has influenced the move towards facilitating local testing.
As the world prepares to observe World Suicide Prevention Day on September 10, a Blairmont, West Bank, Berbice teenager was found hanging from the rafters of the veranda of his parents' home on Tuesday evening. Dead is 17-year-old Yogram Baldesh. According to reports, the now-dead teenager reportedly had an argument with a relative prior to the discovery, which was made by his stepfather. The teenager reportedly went to work as usual and returned about 17 hours, but subsequently left home to visit friends at Bath Settlement, West Coast Berbice. Sadat Prasad, the young man's mother, told media operatives that her son returned home in a heavily intoxicated state. He then turned the music system to its loudest and was looking at television at the same time. She reportedly requested that he turn down the volume of the music system, but he refused. After some time, his stepfather went to check on him, and it was then that he made the gruesome discovery. Still to come, 14-year-old disappears, parents appeal to public for help, and children, teachers forced to operate in bee-infested school. Stay with us. You're watching the evening news. It has been 1 week since the mysterious disappearance of 14-year-old Duthmati Prasad, and her parents are now calling on the public to assist in locating her. Ramona Luthi reports.
The teenager of Lot 30 Industry Krongdam, East Coast Demerara, was last seen on September 1 at the PNR taxi service in William and Queen Street, Kitty, Georgetown, decked in a blue top and capri along with a pair of black slippers. The teen's mother, Lalita Sigobin Hussain, reportedly went into labor on August 31st and had left money and jewelry with her daughter. After giving birth, the now missing teenager seemed elated, but the relatives had no clue about her intentions.
She looked happy because she was excited to see the baby. She didn't show me no sign of anything bothering her or she got any problem or whatever.
The teen's mother said that shortly after the visit, Prasad called her and disclosed that she was unable to find a gold bangle which was left with her earlier.
An hour after she called me and she said, "Mommy, I lost the bangle." I said, "How you lost it?" She said that it was in the bag and like somebody take it out. I said, "Alright, when I come home we can deal with that I got discharged."
Hussain realized her daughter was missing at approximately 16 hours on September 1 when she found a letter insinuating that the teen left home on her own accord.
But she also left a note. When I discovered that she was missing around 4, she left a note saying that she lost forever. She gone, that God bless me with her next daughter, and she gone. I don't stress, and I don't take on no worries, that whenever the time is right, she's going to come back.
In tears, the mother of the missing child noted that since Prasad left the home, she has been trying to call her cell phone, but the last call on Saturday was answered by a man.
She leave with the phone. I tried calling the phone. Saturday was the last day I got contact with a man answering the phone, and he was very abusive. He said he's in Bartica, and if I need to speak to my daughter, I have to talk money talk first. And the phone went dead. From then to now, the phone is just going to voicemail.
The mother of the 14-year-old is requesting that anyone with information with regards to Duthmati Prasad may contact with the nearest police station or contact her directly on 620-0191 or 684-1692. The evening news was told that this is not the first time the teenager left home. Some time back, she disappeared for a few hours with her boyfriend. Ramona Luthi reporting for the evening news.
Thanks, Ramona. The New Amsterdam Town Council has taken a decision to impose a fine on property owners who fail to upkeep their premises. Let's find out more in this report.
The decision was taken at the council's last statutory meeting, where the town's environment was dealt with extensively. Following the meeting, head of the Environmental Health Department, Municipal Health Inspector Aklu Ramsud, told the Evening News that most of those who will be affected are those who have migrated.
There are a number of lots in this town here that we have a difficulty in locating the owners of those lots. And so the council has taken a decision that since we cannot locate these owners, or some owners we have served written notice to and they have failed to comply, so the council will enter upon those lands, have it weeded and clean. The cost incurred in carrying out that exercise will be determined by the council, and those monies will be fixed onto the taxes of those proprietors. So those persons that are accustomed to paying $1,500 and $500 per year will very well find themselves, when they come to pay their taxes, has to pay costs of $50,000 because of their neglect to clean their land that has overgrowths on it.
According to the Municipal Health Inspector, the council is in receipt of complaints that perpetrators of crime have been using such places to hide out. The decision by the council is also welcomed by the police. Meanwhile, Aklu alluded that the department has also been raising concerns over the town's limited ability to control vectors.
And also we know that there has been an increase in mosquito-borne disease within the township and within the country as a whole. And some of these lots provide harborage for the adult mosquitoes. The accumulation of water on these lots also provide a breeding ground for these mosquitoes, because we know that one cycle of the mosquito takes place in water. So those persons, please ensure to cooperate with the municipality by having your lots weeded and clean. If you don't, you'll face the consequences of the municipality putting charges to your taxes.
Those penalties will bring needed revenue to the cash-strapped municipality. However, it is being advised that property owners clean their premises to prevent overgrowth. Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
Children are going to school in fear after Africanized bees invaded and took up residency at the head teacher's quarters of the Abari Primary School. Andrew Carmichael reports.
The bees have been living in the educational facility for the past year, forcing pupils and teachers to be absent from school on a regular basis. The Evening News visited the facility earlier today and found out that the issue had been reported to the relevant agencies and nothing had been done. One parent, Ramchand Ramnarayan, claimed that he has not sent his children to school since the commencement of the new school year, since he is fearful that the bees might attack at any time.
We've reported several times the regional education department and the region chairman. And a couple of weeks before the school opened, we went to Region Redo. And when he understand we are there to see him, he get away. He didn't want to speak to us.
In 2015, when the parents took their concerns to the regional education officer, Owen Pollard, they also mentioned that a boat which was given to the community to transport children to and from school was non-functional.
Well, the Redo said they don't have money to repair the boat, and they were looking to send somebody to get the bees removed. And the whole year is done, and this is the next school year start. And how long this thing resolve me, I won't send my children here. Because that is dangerous. The other day, a man get killed in the estate. I don't want my children to get killed by bees.
One of the teachers, Vanetta Sugdio, says the bees in the head teacher's quarters have prevented children from being involved in curricular activities.
They cannot do any outdoor activities because, like when they get the little recreation and so on outside, we can't do that. They even can't run. They can't play, they can't speak hard in school, and so on, because the noise will affect the bees. And it is very dangerous for the children.
Another teacher explained that they have also reported to regional officials the need for attention to be paid to the physical structure as well.
Yes, the Ministry of Education Department gave us a boat, and it was very helpful to the student to come to school. But within a year, it broke, the engine from the boat broke, and we didn't really get back any information back about the boat. And it's very difficult for the children to walk this long distance and come to school, and then when they come to school in the morning, it's so tired for them to start their work, so we would like them to look into the matter.
In an invited comment, Regional Chairman Victor Ramphel told Evening News that the parents met with him in August claiming that they were not given any assistance from the Education Department. Ramphel said he contacted Regional Executive Officer Ovid Morrison and related the concerns of the Abari residents. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Thanks, Andrew. We now look at what is happening inside the courts with Renella Bourne.
McNary Moraes, a 26-year-old Brazilian, appeared before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan on a charge of possession of ammunition. Moraes pleaded not guilty to the charge, which stated that on Thursday, August 11, 2016, at Aishalton Village, South Rupununi, she had in her possession a .32 live ammunition without being the holder of a firearm license. The prosecution facts stated that on the day in question, the defendant was intercepted at Aishalton checkpoint, where she was attempting to enter Marudi Back Dam. The ammunition was concealed in a black handbag belonging to her. Moraes was granted bail in the sum of $100,000. The matter was transferred to the Lethem Magistrate Court, where the defendant will make her appearance on October 28, 2016. Finally, in the courts, the PI into the case involving the grenade attack on Kaichor News publisher Glenn Lal commenced before Chief Magistrate McLennan. Alfie Garway, 36 of Norton Street, Lodge, Georgetown, Howard, 20 of Lot 322, Section C, Turkine, East Coast, Demerara, and Leroy Williams, 25 of Lot 11, Durban, Backlands, are accused of conspiring with other persons to cause an explosion by way of grenade, likely to endanger lives and causing damage to property. The PI continues tomorrow before Chief Magistrate McLennan.
In observance of International Literacy Day 2016, Digicel Guyana visited St. Cuthbert's Mission, where members of staff engaged the pupils of the nursery school in a reading and a storytelling exercise. Public Relations Officer Vidya Sanichara noted that the exercise was held to show the children the importance of reading as a means of giving back to the community. She noted that Digicel supports the notion of promoting literacy since it is an instrument of empowering individuals, communities, and societies. Digicel Guyana also donated a quantity of books, back-to-school items and backpacks to the students and teachers during the visit. The telecommunications company will also be visiting several other indigenous communities throughout the month of September to make similar donations as Guyana celebrates Indigenous Heritage Month and Education Month. Join us after the break for your regional and international news. Stay with us.